Joey on the Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube channel here Saturday evening just after 7 p.m. Checking in on the snowstorms going on throughout Canada, in Ontario, in Alberta, in British Columbia. We got some new updates. Round 3 coming to BC. It's just one after another. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Maybe a number 4. Yeah, it's nonstop off the Pacific Ocean right now. She's real gnarly, and it's not going to stop. So here's some weather details for you on a Saturday night. There was a terrible accident on the 97 highway last night by a Hush Lake, and terrible stuff. We'll talk about some of that too. Okay, it's Bad News Show. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later.
They
try mopping this. We got a crazy amount of weather warnings going on still, but there is a few that have been dropped at least, so that's kind of nice for you. We'll get to as many of these warnings as we can get to. In fact, we'll start up at the north where extreme cold is the story right now. Wind chill values near minus 50 expected tonight and Sunday up there at the very top of the Yukon. Oh, you don't have to go that far north to find it still very cold. We could see wind chill values in the 50s as well for Beaver Creek area, well into the Northwest Territories, minus 50 expected there. Of course, freezing to death is a very real prospect if you get caught out in that. Now let's go take a look at the White Pass, South Klondike, out for Bennett, BC, where minus 45 to 50 wind chills could be going on. Man, that is extremely cold. Into south end of the Yukon, minus 30s, probably a minus 45 wind chill for Dease Lake and Watson Lake and Jay City and areas like that up through the central part of BC. So that cold air is up there. It's very, very nasty. Head down to the coast where we have 25 to 40 centimeters expected. New snow expected tonight through Monday, then rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's going to be a transition. That's going to make for some times of sleet and freezing rain this week, and we'll try to give you some heads up on that. 25 to 40 centimeters expected there on Monday. By Monday, on Monday, snow will transition to a mix of rain. By Monday night, there's a risk of freezing rain during the transition. Heavy rains anticipated Tuesday and Wednesday for those areas, so the warm-up is coming. The warm-up is coming, at least for a lot of us in southern BC, and some of us aren't seeing very cold temperatures at all now. It's still not below zero here in Wells, and it continues to snow a little bit on us. 10 to 20 centimeters of snow inland for Buttedale, for example. Up to Prince Rupert could see 60 millimeters of rain in that area tonight and Sunday. Highway 16, Rainbow Summit to Cassox, heavy snow, freezing rain, then rain. Prince Rupert, Port Edward, heavy rain tonight and Sunday. Difficult driving conditions, icing, freezing rain, very bad. Head on down to Bella, where 100 to 200 millimeters of rain is expected there. Into the Caribbean, we still have snowfall warning. 5 to 15 centimeters may fall here. Prince George, Stewart, Nechako, Quesnel, but most especially in the Caribou Mountains, McGregor, Williston, Pine Pass. 5 to 15 centimeters expected by Sunday. There's a brief risk of localized freezing rain on Sunday and possibly Monday as well in central interior regions. Prepare for slippery challenges. The freezing level may go up to 2,000 to maybe 2,500 meters. So that means it's going to warm up. We're going to see a lot of melting coming to us very, very soon. Up into northern Alberta, extreme cold, minus 40s there. So that we do know that there was some heavy snow making it into Grand Prairie yesterday. So some of that snow has made it inland, and we have a snowfall warning that continues up to 5 centimeters. I think 50 centimeters maybe have been a little bit hopeful there. I don't know. That seemed like a lot. So we got the lake effect snow continuing off of most of the Great Lakes, and this continues for 20 to 40 centimeters by Monday morning for Thunder Bay area just east of. Highways 11 and 17 could see some deteriorating conditions. Over at Sault Ste. Marie, heavy snow blowing there. Blind River along Highway 17 and 129. Constant snowfall, constant snow coming in there. 5 to 10 centimeters per hour. Snow squall warning continues at Searchmont at the very, very east end of Lake Superior. At Port Elgin, up the Bruce Peninsula there, escarpments 20 to 40 centimeters still expected by Sunday evening. Continuing maybe into Monday for some areas. Snow squalls off Lake Huron will continue to affect the area through the weekend. These snow squalls will shift from time to time, but will be capable of intense snowfall rates. Head on down through Goderich area on the Huron coast. 50 centimeters expected by Tuesday morning there. Peak snowfall rates of 5 to 10 centimeters an hour. Snow squalls off Lake Huron will affect the area through Tuesday morning. Following ongoing lake effect snow off of Huron, a more intense snow squall will move south across the area Sunday afternoon. In the wake of the snow squall, northwesterly flow off Huron will result in lake effect snow on Tuesday morning. So there you go for you. Over in London, Ontario, you got a snow squall watch from the same system. Head up just north of Toronto. You got 15 centimeters possible there. Snow squall watch for Grand Valley and areas just north of Toronto. 15 centimeters there for all areas near to the Georgian Bay and Lake Huron area. 20 to 40 centimeters inland expected. So you are going to get dumped on through Wildlands Provincial Park. Go to Parry Sound. And that's Huntsville, that area we were just talking about. Parry Sound still expecting 50 centimeters down through the Trenton area. And it looks like for those of us, if you know where Prince Edward County is, 20 to 30 centimeters expected for you as well coming at you. So there's amazing snowfall totals. Kingston, you could be seeing that as well coming at you soon. So amazing. North Bay, you just got a weather advisory, but you could be seeing still 15 centimeters by midnight there. There was this bad accident at Hush Lake last night, and I actually heard people blaming MCON. Although I heard other people saying, well, the state of the road was reasonable considering the snowfall. Well, other people point out that sometimes it's not even safe for the snow truck drivers. I've got lots of complaints about snow plows over the years, man. I've had a lot of complaints, but I've never blamed them for an accident. After sitting here for days telling you this weather was coming, Environment Canada tells you, Weather Network tells you, you see it on Facebook, you see it, people talk about it, and you still made the choice to drive. And I'm not trying to blame dead people for their accidents and cause extra grief to families. What I'm trying to say is you are all responsible for your safety and choosing good times to travel. Despite any battles I may have had with MCON personally in the past, I'm not going to sit here and accept logic like that. No, Bella got 92.8 millimeters of rain in the last 24 hours. Of course, this was at 9:07 a.m. that this report was made, so we'll have fresh data for tomorrow. Definitely lake on this, but some big-time snowfall totals still out there. Even Smithers saw 22 centimeters, so great news for the ski hill there. Fort James and Prince George taking a little bit at times. Most of that snow really has been up the heart. It's been further north of Prince George. We'll have a look at the radar here in a minute. Meanwhile, Ontario with these crazy developments. This is 12:23 p.m. At Eastern time, so this is fairly recent now, this information. So snowfall summary in centimeters, 11 a.m. it came out Eastern. Okay, fine. So it's only a couple hours old. Echo Bay, 100 centimeters of snow. These are volunteer observations, some of these. 73 to 82 in Sault Ste. Marie. Gravenhurst seeing 45. Man, Bracebridge area, that area near to Algonquin Park there, 89 centimeters. That's incredible. Baysville got up to 50, Port Sydney 41. So some big time snow for Ontario. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan breaking temperature records down minus 31, minus 32 in Indian Head, 35 in Last Mountain Lake. Some extreme temperatures. Saskatoon was down 33.5 last night. They've been keeping records there since 1900. So that's a pretty crazy early season Arctic outflow. We have seen temperatures like that in the past, yeah, but it's notable. It's not December yet, and they're hitting minus 34. And I gave you a quick example yesterday of why Arctic outbreaks are something that's going to happen in a climate change scenario, because the heat chases the cold. When the heat chases the cold has to be displaced, the cold comes down. That's what happens. That's what the breaking down of the polar vortex effectively does. Now we're looking at BC snow overnight Saturday night, and you can see most of the snow expectation in the interior will be going down the Rockies, a little bit in the Caribou Mountains, up through maybe to the Pine Pass. Definitely we're seeing a lot of it fall on Highway 16 right now east of Prince George. Some of the Highway 16 corridor, expect more snow through there, and then we have some of that rainfall on the coast, a little bit of freezing rain and stuff like that, and sleet perhaps happening in those areas near to Alaska. Yeah, Sunday morning we see that snow is still sitting a lot in the Caribou, Prince George, but does eventually get thrust upwards, and that's when our warmer air starts to show up. And that's great news. Looks like we'll see some pretty strong winds over in Alberta. You know, we got still this cold air up there. It's really fighting. It's really pushing up against this. So we got this competing interest between the extreme cold and the precipitation that wants to come in. Now, did you see that? See those purples and pinks? So those are things that would warn me that in the Prince George region through this week, you know, here's Wednesday, Tuesday. Look at those are freezing rain. That purple, that pink, that's freezing rain icons. So we're going to be watching for that. If you got travel plans on Tuesday, be very aware Tuesday and Wednesday. We could see, as you know, the air will be cold and the ground will be cold, you know, at first, but then this warm push of air starts throwing moisture in, and that moisture is falling as rain, but it's hitting a cold surface and becomes freezing. And, you know, it's super cooled water perhaps as well, right? So that heavier snowfall squeezing its way up into the Yukon. So looking for some relief from the cold. We're hoping some snow can nudge that back for you a little bit for a little while. And then we have a bit of a break before the next one comes in. Models were showing Friday, Saturday, sometime around then. So we have, looks like large freezing rain potential at that time. But that's a week out, so we're not going to guess at that right now. This just gives us an idea that the storm machine is not going to stop. Round 3 is underway already up in the Alaska area. That is going to start squeezing in. So what is going on right now? Well, it looks like we have a little bit of snowfall showing up on radar in Ontario. We'll go to a better radar view later on because this will all end up kind of changing a little bit anyways. But you can see that lake effect snow coming off the lake still, and you can see how Watertown's still getting some big snow, and I would suspect that Buffalo, New York is now finally taking some pretty heavy snowfall as well. So a little bit of snow in Saskatchewan. I'm sure you're happy about that. And we have a little bit happening in the interior right now. Some here in Wells carrying on, but not a great deal. Last time I was out, but it looks like that heavier band is moving in. You see that Highway 16 corridor finally getting a little bit of a break on the heart, and finally a little bit of a break for you. And let's just check out the motion of things here and see where she goes. And this just gives you a view over the last 6 hours. You can see, of course, it gets dark, so that does change how visible the clouds are. During the daytime, they really lit up. Most of BC seeing quite a bit of cloud. And you can see a little bit of snowfall maybe happening down in southern BC at times as well. Maybe a little precip down there. So we are kind of looking at that. But most of the interior story is still in that area we were mentioning before. And then, of course, we will see some of that pounding into northern BC, I think, as we come into Sunday. Non-stop for you on the coast. It's not, it's just wrapping straight on into you. It looks very impressive the way it's moving. Very impressive. And as you can see, that temperature line is really drawn right across northern BC, seeing minus 29 in areas like that up there. Yeah, very, very cold. And we're just going to, jump a little bit back and forth here between temperature and between wind speeds and things like that to sort of give us an impression of where things are going. Reporting strong wind gusts off the coast. Nothing ridiculous. And so far, most of these readings in the interior don't look that bad, actually. But we have some really tight isobars here. So I would kind of think that over the course of the night, you could see some of those winds picking up in northern BC. At moments today, we had some wind in Wells. Nothing spectacular, nonetheless. Well, look at the range of incredible temperatures being reported at this hour. We got a minus 44 at Rabbit Kettle. Minus 44 reported, and that's just dead cold. That's not wind chill. This is just the dead temperature. Lots of 26s out there, but that 44 seems to take the cake right now. Rabbit Kettle, and that's often been a place that gets extremely cold. That's true. I've seen them lead the pack many times. Mayo hitting 39. Lucky for you. 36 down in Burwash. So some pretty, and over in Denali and areas like that. Coal Creek on the Alaska side. 36 at Fort Yukon, Alaska. Extremely stupidly cold. But you go down to southern BC and you're barely reporting below zero in a lot of these places. So you've had it pretty good through a lot of this. Fort St. John seeing 24 right now in that general area near the Dawson Creek Airport, hitting 33 below at this hour, at 7 o'clock hour. So extremely, bitterly, stupidly, shitty cold. I'm very sorry for you. Go back to Snowfall for a minute and see how that is really rapid like we were seeing so often in some of those depictions. A little bit throwing out into Saskatchewan and maybe Manitoba. Yep, a little bit coming down there. So that's really interesting considering. But you can see the temperatures really come up, though, with that precip moving in. So it's helped beat the temperature down for you a little bit, squeeze that over a little bit more. And that's positive news. Precipitation is hitting into that cold air, and it really doesn't know what to do with itself. It has to fall. By 2 a.m., we begin to see that moving into northern BC more substantially. And we still have that chance for snow through Prince George up to even maybe squeezing into Fort St. John just a little bit. We've been really, really hoping for you that something could happen, and that it's coming against that bubble. But you see on Sunday, we can just jump ahead a little bit and watch how that southern BC is starting to take that warmth. Oh, yeah. Can't you wait? Look at some of those nice temperatures for you down there on the coast. 4 degrees? Yeah, I'd take that. Oh, how about Oregon? You're probably seeing 11. Is that possible that you can get to double digits in southern BC? It's not out of the question. On Sunday. And you can see that snow. Really, we're getting to an Alaska situation here where Alaska's taking it hard on the chin and then pounding one in after another into Alaska for the next little while. And that does spill into northern BC, but that leaves more and more those of us in the south further away from that. You can the atmospheric river really pounding into Alaska this week, really pounding in northern BC, seeing heavy snowfall up there, but a lot of us getting lucky. Some freezing rain icons on Monday afternoon. Just beware of that in the piece. Beware of that northern Alberta, risk of that. And we'll be seeing more of that as the warm-up comes in here. That helps really change this temperature story in BC. And look at that. There's the warm-up already Monday into the piece. at evening time. You're 6 degrees above on Monday overnight. Wouldn't that be spectacular? Wouldn't that be spectacular? I mean, will stay below zero up here in Wells at elevation. And it looks like southern BC a little bit, but you can see how that flow from the warmer Pacific air is really pounding straight up into what's a positive story for everybody in northern BC who's been cold for a while. But you get round after round after round. That's what we'll be revisiting, I think, a little bit this week. There's tight isobars there. What's that saying for wind overnight on Tuesday? Nothing crazy showing up, but that is an area you might see some blowing, drifting snow, I would think, overnight Tuesday. So that's kind of where we're going with things over the next week. Yukon, what if that happens? Would you see some warmer temperatures if that happens? Yes. Yeah, it will warm up nicely for you as well into Tuesday night. So -2, that's going to feel crazy different after you were sitting in the Arctic air mass for so long. So long. Wow. You can see that warm up again into northern BC, and that does tell us where the precipitation goes. That shows us some of that chance we had of freezing rain on Tuesday and Wednesday in that south end of it. So you can see where the rain is really coming into the lower area, really coming up along the coast. And until you're closer where that cold contact is, you're not seeing that freezing rain, but there's that freezing rain risk in behind where that warm. Yeah, so you get the idea. There's interaction. And then we catch maybe a break sometime midweek. Maybe it's Wednesday overnight. Could be. Well, we'll watch for that. But it won't last for very long, because then comes the next round through next weekend, where more storms are going to keep pounding in. Although it looks like a sloppy mess right now, I would expect to see this look a little different in a few days in the models. We'll start at Saturday into Sunday, and we'll just slowly go and watch where that snow builds up. Bam, into the coast mountains in the north, into Alaska, into northern BC, a little bit in that Highway 16 area, a little bit through Pine Pass, the North Rockies, sure, a little bit into the prairies, and look at everywhere on that east flank of the Great Lakes is snow expected, because that water is just so warm there, and that cold air moving across it, just picking it up like I was telling you yesterday, showing you. But there we go. By next week, what kind of snowfall are we looking at in BC? 65 centimeters, maybe in the North Rockies. Okay, around Stewart in the mountains there, over a meter, quite likely on the BC border of Alaska, quite likely 170 centimeters. That's entirely believable. 52 centimeters in the North Rockies. Okay, that would be incredible. And then anyone traveling through 97 North, you may still be seeing some heavy snowfall this week, and you will want to be very aware if you got travel plans to go from Yukon to BC or BC to Yukon, what kind of weather you might be running into in a number of days' time. All in all, looking like just a dusting for most places. You still might see 10 more centimeters and whatnot, but you are almost out of the snowstorm story for a little while into the central interior. So get through the next little while, at least for Prince George, Caribou, and whatnot. You will see a warm-up. Everybody across the board. Peace is going to see a warm-up, so that extreme temperature you've been seeing, that'll become a warm-up for sure. Well, let's have a quick look at radar. See where things are at tonight. That band of snow we've watched go over since I started recording this. That's why I kind of waited the last minute, so that if I do the radar look first, by the time I'm done editing and get it up on YouTube, it's like an hour and a half. So this gives you the most recent radar before I leave, right? And a little bit of snow falling here in Barkerville, as you can see. Anywhere where there's that blue right now, might be seeing a dusting of it, but it looks like the real snowfall right now is on that Highway 16 corridor. That's a disaster. Don't go up Highway 16 tonight. Tomorrow, if you got plans, it might still be a while before it's a really good-looking highway. That is crazy snowfall. Despite some warnings up there, very little falling right now still in the Alberta side up there. Just a tiny bit of snow in Saskatchewan right now. But in Ontario, you can see that lake effect snow, and it's really doing exactly what I was describing yesterday. You're picking up and dropping, in this time on the Sault Ste. Marie area still, but we can look at other radars and see that pretty much everywhere it's doing the exact same thing. It's doing the exact same thing up along Georgian Bay, coming into Parry Sound, up to Bracebridge, Huntsville. Seeing a lot of that there. Even in southern Ontario, some of that making its way down, some of that up the Bruce Peninsula. Still right now, heavy snow coming off of Huron. And you can see it doesn't take very long for it to pick up and then drop. It's just going. How about Buffalo, New York right now? What's going on there? That looks like an extreme snow setup like we've seen in Buffalo before. That is very insane amount of snow, I'm sure, is falling there right now. High rates, dumping 5 to 10 centimeters an hour, they were saying in Ontario. Well, what's 5 to 10? How many hours of that can you take before you were absolutely buried? I was in Hamilton during the snowstorm in 1998 that had Toronto shut down and had the army come in. And you can laugh about it, but it was a ridiculous scenario. So much snow came, nobody could do anything. It was unbelievable. So Watertown, that is really taking the snow heavy right now too. That whole area, and that's what we knew. We were talking about that. We knew mesoscale, the convective discussion right now is saying for them that heavy snow falling at rates of 2 inches per hour will continue east of Lake Ontario with a slight northward shift in the main snow band. It says eat there. The main snow band expected over the next couple hours. The latest radar data shows heavy snow continuing across portions of upstate New York and east of Lake Ontario. Heavy snow has been occurring near and south of Watertown and eastward into the Tug Hill area. However, recent trends indicate the main band is shifting, reforming slightly to the north. This is likely occurring in response to a very slight backing of the 0.3 kilometer flow as depicted over the past few hours per the Fort Drum KTYX WSR radar. As such, it appears that the area of heaviest snowfall may gradually become focused near and north of Watertown and areas, so moving up a little bit, and it is possible that Kingston area could be an area that is a benefit of that. And we see even out into Lake Ontario, the Sandbanks Provincial Park sort of area, more or less, taking that right now, that lake effect snow. So that's what I got for everybody tonight. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, help me grow the channel. I'm really in need of donations. We're coming into Christmas time, and a little extra help around here would be very, very appreciated. Although a lot of you have already supported me, and hey, thank you if you have already. You are what's kept me going and what's made this dream a reality. What's helped me gather so much gear, equipment, help me feed kids, help me become a weatherman who every day is trying to give you my take here on YouTube channel. So whenever you have big plans, make sure to check in here and see what I'm saying, everybody. Okay, I think that's all I got for you tonight. It was not a nice win by the Leafs tonight. It was starting good. It was a 4-0 lead, although it was a sleeper second period. They scored 3 goals, but then Tampa Bay kept in a penalty that shouldn't have been called. The refs just hate Toronto, and next thing you knew, it was a 1-goal game. Oh, it was close. I was sloppy finish. I didn't like it, but nonetheless, it's a W. The Maple Leafs will take it. Edmonton's playing Colorado right now. If you are watching hockey instead of weather, I don't blame you, because that's what I was doing for a while too. Okay, that's the show. Bye now. Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel!